Sadhguru, you tell us story about how Krishna Guru cannot handle situation with his son when his kidnaps happens. How you can explain he is Guru, he is great master, he cannot handle these situations. How we can, simple people, can handle situations?
The great men in the world, those men who stand out as truly great, are not people who could handle everything in their life. They are not people who could they are not fix-all people. But they are people, no matter what happened, they maintained a certain balance and fulfilled the purpose of their life without deviating from what was right within themselves. Circumstances that they faced always, invariably, were far more extreme compared to what the people that you call as normal go through in their lives. Much more extreme, much more difficult, much more challenging. But in spite of all that, they did not deviate from whatever was right within themselves. So it is that which makes them great, not because they are fix-alls and do-alls. There are no fix-alls and do-alls in the world, no matter who he is. If anybody claims so, he doesn't know anything about life then. He is not sufficiently seasoned with life. Only an immature person who is not sufficiently seasoned with life will believe that he is a fix-all. One who is seasoned with life knows many things may not happen the way you want them. Many things may turn against you. Things that you have worked for your whole life may just collapse for some stupid nonsense. It happened in Krishna's life. But he did not deviate from what his life is about. People who proclaimed that they'll give their life for him this moment, turned around the next moment and spat at him. But this did not take him off what he saw as right thing to do with himself and life around him. It is this that makes a man great, not because he's a fix-all. There is no fix-all in the world. You thought I am a fix-all, is that why you're here? I am not a fix-all too. I am putting my 10 fingers in 20 different holes and seeing how it doesn't leak off. You have 10 fingers, but usually you're just trying to plug one hole with 10 fingers. I'm trying to plug 20 holes with 10 fingers. All the time somewhere it's leaking. It's an eternal circus. There are always 10 holes leaking at any point in my life. But that doesn't break you, that doesn't make you deviate. It may kill you, but still it doesn't deviate you from who you are. It doesn't subjugate you. It doesn't destroy you. It may bring death to you, but it'll not destroy you. That's what makes a person great, not because he can do everything.
What he's trying to teach is the Dharma.
What is Dharma? This question came up in Krishna's life. With many people in his life. At one point, at the time of Draupadi, the wife of the 5 brothers, the common wife of the 5 brothers, when her marriage came up, Krishna was doing everything to see that she is married to these 5 brothers. At that time, this question came up. Draupadi seriously questioned Krishna, "Do you know what is dharma?" And when Krishna told Bhima, "You leave Hastinapura to Duryodhana, let's build a new city," Bhima said, "You are a traitor. I want to kill Duryodhana. You are telling me to leave this kingdom to him and go and build another kingdom somewhere else from the scratch. What do you know about dharma?" Similar questions came from Arjuna, similar questions came from many people. People question Krishna, "Do you really know what is dharma?" I will not go into the individual detailed answers that he gave, but the general thing is, Krishna admitted, "Even I do not know what is dharma in terms of action right now, because action is subject to situations. However we judge it, we could be slightly off the mark here and there when it comes to the outside. But my swadharma, within me, I'm 100% clear. How I should be within me, this I'm 100% clear. How to act, nobody in the world is 100% clear. Only a fanatic or an idiot are 100% clear. No intelligent human being is ever 100% clear about what he is doing. He is always weighing it. No action is 100% right in the world. Whatever you do, there is something that is hurt, there is something that causes some injustice to something. Our very existence, our eating and living and breathing here is an injustice to some other life form, isn't it? If you look at it that way from their point of view. So no action in the world is 100% right or 100% wrong. You just tend to consider the larger good that you create with your actions and perform your actions. So when it comes to external activity, dharma is in terms of judgment at that moment. Nobody can fix this is right, this is wrong. But as Krishna insists, and as I have insisting all the time, how to be within this Swadharma, he is 100% clear. This is the only thing that you can be 100% clear, how I should be within myself. About this, we can fix 100% clarity in dharma. When it comes to action, only a fool or a fanatic is 100% clear. All others are always constantly weighing. There is no other way. Because the very nature of creation is such. If you eat, you kill something. Now you're talking about killing. If you eat, you kill, right? If you breathe, you kill. If you walk, you kill. So you don't want to do all that. If you kill yourself, you kill. So what dharma will you do? It is just how you're within yourself. If you are in a certain way of inclusion, if you're in a state of all-inclusiveness, according to your intelligence, according to the situation, you act. If you are not in a state of inclusion, you are in a state of you versus me, then everything that you do is wrong. You cannot do anything right because your very existence is wrong, because it's you and me. Once there is you and me, this and become versus is just a question of time. So Krishna's whole life is a demonstration of this. There is no you and me. It is me and me or you and you. There is no you and me. Whether he was with the gopis or he went about as a statesman or he is teaching the Gita, the message is always the same, of inclusion. There is only me and me, there is no you and me. Once there is only me and me, action is just a question of judgment and situation. No action can be 100% right or 100% wrong.
So Guru, you mentioned when Krishna was with the gopis and he didn't, of course, he wasn't self-realized at that time. Subsequently, when he is with his Guru, he is reminded about his role. And when he is accepting brahmacharya, you mentioned that people question that he was moving around so promiscuously with so many gopis and how could he now be a brahmachari. He mentioned that he was always a brahmachari. Could you just explain on this?
So he was always a brahmachari. Brahmacharya means, Brahman means divine, charya means the path. You're on the path of the divine. Divine, no matter which culture, religion you come from, always they have told you, and your own intelligence tells you, if there is something called as divine, if there is, let's not even assume that, if there is, it cannot be in this corner or that corner. Either it has to be everywhere or it is not. Yes? There is no other way for the divine. Either it has to be everywhere in everything or it is not. So brahmacharya means you're on the path of the divine. That means you're on the path of inclusion. Once again, me and me, no, you and me. So once you are me and me, you are not yet there. You're practicing brahmacharya. You want to get there. You don't want to create the divide. Because if you approach the other as other, this gets manifested. In physical relationships, me and you gets deeply manifested. It's because of that the brahmachari looks away from that, because he wants to establish an all-inclusiveness within himself. Krishna was all-inclusiveness right from the beginning. When he opened his mouth as a child to show his mother that he was not eating mud or he was eating mud, whichever way. Even then he was all-inclusion. When he danced with the gopis also, he was all-inclusion. He never thought of having pleasure with them. It never occurred to him how to have pleasure with somebody. He just included them. Because of his youthfulness and their usefulness, certain things happened around them. But he never thought in terms of how to use them. He never thought in terms of how to derive some pleasure out of them. It never occurred to him such things. So, he said, I've always been a brahmachari. I've always been on the path. Now I've just taken a formal step, that's all. Nothing is different with me now. Only the situation has changed. And so much legend and romance has grown around Krishna as always a ladies' man. But you need to understand, all this happened before he was 16. After 16, he lived with absolute discipline. Wherever he went, women went mad about him. But not once he stepped out of the way to make use of any woman for his pleasure, not once. So that's a brahmachari.
Did Krishna create the war? I ask this because if he hadn't tried to apply his Dharma, there would be a lot of 100 squabbling kings, but there would be no great war. You tell us many times that there's a balancing act of a guru, that every action has a karmic consequence, and if you are willing to accept the consequence, you can make the action. Was Krishna aware that there could be big consequences of teaching Dharma?
It is not because of his efforts to create peace the war happened. The way the jealousy and hatred that had grown between these two groups anyway was snowballing into a war. He saw it even before the first leaf came. He saw the seed and he knew this will head for a major war. So he did everything possible, many years of work to avoid it. To a large extent he succeeded, but because of basically one man's greed, he wouldn't let it happen, he took it towards war. This war happened in terms of… we were just looking at this that day, these 5 brothers and these 100 brothers. The 100 brothers are born to a blind king, the elder brother. The 5 brothers are born to the younger brother, who was the king because his elder brother was blind. But rightfully, it is the elder brother who should have been the king. But because he is born blind, he did not get that. The younger brother got it. Because of this, when the older generation, when the younger brother died, Pandu, King Pandu died, Yudhishthira, his first son, was the eldest of the lot. They made him the king. So in Duryodhana's mind, who is the son of the blind king, who is the elder brother, it was burning, this is my kingdom, I should have been the king. But he got the chance simply because my father is blind. Right from his childhood, Duryodhana showed a certain quality of wantonness about himself. He's a great warrior. Many people loved him for who he is, a powerful man in many ways. But this sense of jealousy which drives him to somehow put somebody else into suffering, he wants to somehow see the Pandavas suffer because they excel in everything. They studied together, these 5 brothers excel in everything that they do. So somehow he wanted to put them to suffering. So the first thing that they did was, he concocted a plan and they said, why don't these 5 brothers go on a vacation to a place called Varnavatha, where they built a palace with very combustible material, mainly using lark and jute. A nice palace they built for these 5 people. The 5 brothers really believed they're going for a vacation and they went. On the way, Vidura, another of the brothers, born to… not in the royal line, but to same father, but born to a maid who was the minister in Hastinapur, came and in a manner of a riddle, he warned them that something else is planned for you, watch out. Because he loved these 5 brothers immensely, because they showed virtue and quality and generosity right from their childhood. So he just told them, the wise man, one who is wise, will read the intention of the enemy, will not wait for his action. And a fox escapes the forest fire by taking the underground route. So Yudhishthira understood that they are to be put to fire. So when they went to the palace, they checked out and they knew it was built of all combustible material. So Vidura also sent a miner who is capable of digging a tunnel to help them. So from inside the palace, they dug a tunnel out and waited. They wanted to make it look genuine. So when the right moment came, they themselves set fire to the palace and escaped through the tunnel. Because there were servants and many others in the palace, they all died, including some soldiers who were there to guard so that these brothers don't escape. All of them died in the fire, but these 5 brothers and the mother escaped through the tunnel. Everybody believed the brothers are dead, but they went into the forest to live in unnoticed by anybody. Nobody knew that they're still alive. Vidura had warned them, but he still doesn't know whether they have really escaped or not. So there was celebration in the heart of Duryodhana. But outside, he put on a mourning. He declared a state mourning, my dear brothers are dead. He put on a whole act of being very sorrowful because his 5 brothers are dead, and had a huge ceremony conducted to send them to heaven. Everything he did, thinking that they're dead. But after a period of over 14 months or so, they surfaced. They surfaced in King Drupada's palace to claim Draupadi as their wife. To marry Draupadi, they had set up a very tough test. One has to be an extraordinary archer to do this. And there were only 3 or 4 people who could do this kind of archery, and they knew who they were. They were hoping Arjuna, one of the brothers who was an expert archer, would come. But they had just disappeared. Krishna is the one who went and informed Drupada, they're still alive, Arjuna will come. But where they are, nobody knows. So the test that was set up was, in the ceiling there was a fish which was going round, not a stationary one, it was rotating. And there was a bowl of oil here which reflects the fish which is rotating. So looking at the reflection in the oil, they have to shoot the eye of the fish. This is a training that archers went through, that without looking at the object, they have to shoot. Arjuna was such an expert archer. During his training, when all the Kuru brothers and the Pandava brothers were learning archery from Dronacharya, one day Dronacharya decided to set up a test for all of them. They set up a wooden bird on top of the tree. One by one, he called the brothers and asked them to aim at the… He said, you must hit the neck of the bird. You must get the arrow in the neck. Aim at it. When I say shoot, you shoot. When they had the bow fully stretched and waiting to shoot, Drona asked them, what do you see? People said, I see the tree, I see fruits, I see the bird, I see this, I see the clouds. Different people said different things. When Arjuna's turn came, Drona asked, what do you see? When he had the bow fully stretched, what do you see? He said, I just see one point on the neck of the bird. That's all I see. And that's how he was. He even mastered the art of shooting in total darkness. He need not see the object. Just by hearing the sound, he will shoot. So he became such an expert archer, they were quite certain if he comes, he will be the one who will win, but they did not know where they are. Duryodhana also is an expert archer. He is confident that he can win. But Krishna manipulated the situation in such a way that Duryodhana does not come. He played many tricks to see that Duryodhana does not come, because Drupada had a vast army. If his daughter is married to Duryodhana, he becomes an ally of Duryodhana, that means inevitable war. So he wanted to divide the power in such a way so that this doesn't happen. So other option that Drupada had to give his daughter was Jarasandha, the cruel king from the east. He also is extremely ambitious and a great enemy of Krishna. So Drupada was willing to give his daughter to Jarasandha. Jarasandha also is an expert archer, he could win. And that Krishna did not want at all. So somehow he managed that the five brothers surface on that day, Arjuna surfaces on that day and won Draupadi over. Like this, many manipulations he did so that the power is equally divided in the nation, so that they will not go to war with each other, so that it will not become a mad conquering rage with one emperor or one king. But it went wrong. Still the war happened. Now that it came to the war, an inevitable war, it's there now, you cannot avoid it anymore. Now he's telling Arjuna, okay, we are there, we did everything to avoid this situation, but we are there. Now no hesitation, let's just fight. Let's fight all out. There's no going back on this one now. And after this war was over, because everybody who could fight was dead, there was peace.
Sadhguru, Krishna says here that there was never a time when I or you or any of these kings here did not exist. And all of us shall certainly exist in the future too.
What
does he
chapter,
mean?
what page?
This is chapter 2, text 12.
See, I can read this one. See that? The Lord said 11 or 12?
12.
Okay, we'll read from 11. The Lord said, "You have spoken wise words and lamented for those who do not deserve lamentation. The learned lament neither for the living nor the dead. There was never a time when I or you or any of these kings here did not exist, and all of us shall certainly exist in the future too." That's what you're asking.
Yeah.
If these words are taken just as words, they're very dangerous words. The second chapter of the Gita, whatever comes here and probably the next one, they're very dangerous words if they're just taken as words. That's one reason why we have spent 3 days before we come to Gita, because we wanted you to imbibe his personality to some extent, so that you don't misinterpret him by his words. You have spoken wise words. He's admitting that Arjuna's words are wise, and lamented for those who do not deserve lamentation. You're lamenting for those people, that's not worth lamenting, because the people that you're facing are not ordinary evil, they're colossal evil. They're not simple evil. You put them anywhere, they will do the negative things. You give them the whole kingdom, still they won't stop, which was given actually. The whole thing was given to them, and these people went out and built their own new kingdom. They cleared up the forest and built a new city. But when they did well, they couldn't keep quiet. They had to do something to deceive them of that. That was deceived, they went to the forest, that's not enough. They had to go there and mock them. When they could not, they decided to kill them. This went on and on and on, it wouldn't stop anywhere. So the people that Arjuna is facing right now are not simply bad or doing something bad because of some situations have compelled them to do something. These are colossal evil. You put them anywhere, they will do the same thing. Give them anything, they will do the same thing. So Krishna is saying, you're lamenting for people whom you should not lament. It's of no consequence. It has to be done now, slaughter. Either you slaughter them or they slaughter you, that's all that is left. You went and hid in the forest, they didn't leave you. You went into the mountains, they didn't leave you. No matter what, they won't leave you. So the only choice that you have is either you kill or get killed, that's all. Better you kill, because at least if you kill, maybe you will do little better than them. Maybe you won't be 100% right, but I'm sure you will do better than them. With that confidence, Krishna is saying, go ahead now. So, there was never a time when I or you or any of these kings here did not exist. And all of us shall certainly exist in future too. Now he's talking about life in its essential quality, not life as people. So the life in front of you, you cannot harm it. You cannot obliterate it, don't believe such things. You cannot really obliterate life. You are only going to put an end to this person now who is standing in front of you. But he continues, so do you. It's always been. When we say, whatever you consider as divine, whatever is the source of creation, must be eternal, isn't it? Even from your understanding. Okay, you don't know it. I'm saying even from your understanding, that which is the source of creation must be eternal, isn't it? Creation itself is not eternal, it comes and goes. But that which is the source of creation must be eternal. So in that context he's saying, don't you worry, your whole business is with the physical surface. Whether you live, if you live joyfully, this physical is meaningful. Once you have decided, wherever you are put, you are only going to make misery out of it. You will make anger out of it, hatred out of it, violence out of it. It is all right to obliterate the physical, but the deeper dimension of who is standing in front of you cannot be killed. They have always been, they will always be. The same is true with you, the same is true with them. So do not lament about these things. Now a time has come when in the physical plane of reality you have to take action. Destruction is needed. This is why, because he is coming from this experience, he was pained and hurt when people were pained. He laughed with people, he cried with people. But now, he turned himself to a different gear. Now he's not standing there as another human being among human beings. He is standing there as ultimate nature. When he is standing there as a divine possibility, now he speaks in a completely different tongue. This same man, Krishna, when he stood there as a human being, just because a man had 6 welts on his back, he risked his life to nurse those 6 welts on somebody's back. You know, we were looking at this in Punyajana's ship. But this same man now says, you can slaughter this 100,000 people, don't worry, it is just the body. But he didn't say that when that man was in pain with 6 welts on his body. You need to understand this. When he stood there as a human being, he was a fantastic human being. Now he's standing here as a divine possibility, he is no more concerned about the physical. He is just talking about, let's melt the pots. Anyway, they'll get reshaped again. Right now, they're all cracked up. No point trying to struggle with them. Let's melt the pots off. They will anyway find their way. You cannot take away the source of who they are. You can only take off the surface. Let's do it. Can you see the difference in the man? He sticks his life out just to nurse 6 wounds on somebody's back. Now he's willing to take 100,000 lives with a smile on his face. So you have to look at the statement, from whom it is coming. Now anybody can repeat these words, probably somewhere else it says, it's all right to kill. You cannot kill anybody. You can neither be killed nor kill. So it's okay, go ahead and slaughter. Someone else who is not in this state should not speak these words. This is why I always tell people, don't read the Gita, because you will go according to your logical mind, and it'll be very convenient for all the pain and suffering that you heap upon other people. After all, what is there? Nobody dies and is born, it is okay. This is true only when it's true with you also. Only when it is true with you also. You are also beyond pain, you are also beyond suffering, you are also beyond life and death. Only then you say these words. Otherwise, you don't parrot these words at all. It's not for you to say this. When it comes from Krishna, it is genuine and true. If somebody else just parrots these words, it is utter falsehood.
Two questions, Sadhguru. One is that wise people like Bhishma and Drona, how they could get themselves to be on the side of Duryodhana. And the second question is that in the course of his religious treatise, the Gita, why does Krishna have to keep on saying that I am everything? Why he could not explain it in such a way that there would be no duality in our understanding of the Gita? Why he could not say that it is either I and I or you and you, it is one and the same thing? He has never said that you are also that same divinity. He has only attributed all the divinity to himself.
He attributed all the divinity to himself because that was the truth. That was the living experience. He was living with the experience of boundlessness and he was divine. The man who was standing in front of him was thinking you and me. When you're not in such an experience, if I just tell you, which we are doing, you are God. Either it'll be an ego booster or it'll lead to enormous frustration. I am God, but what the hell, tomorrow I have to go to the office. I am God, but what the hell, my head is aching. I am God, but what the hell, I have to pay my bills. It takes you into a state of unreality. So he never told Arjuna, you are God. He just said, I am, and everything is within me. And he also inferred, the same is true with every being, which includes Arjuna. But he is not particularly telling Arjuna, you are God, because it's not true with Arjuna as yet. See, truth, what is true for you is only that which is in your experience right now, isn't it? Isn't it so? What is in your experience is the only truth. There may be some other truth here. We are trying to lead you there, but we are not insisting that is the truth, because that is not the truth as far as you're concerned. As far as you're concerned, where your experience is, that is the truth. What Krishna is talking is fairy tale. So he doesn't want to put you in that position. So he is saying, I am God, I am the ultimate divinity, I am all-inclusive. That means you are also part of this. This God thing has not come to me as my property, you are also partner in my Godhood. Is that not good enough? We should have spelled out, you are also God. He is saying, my Godhood is only because you are also a partner in it. If you were a devil and I am all-inclusive, I could not be God, a part of me is devil. Yes? If all of you are devils and I am all-inclusive, can I be God? A large part of me is devil, isn't it? So when he says, you are also a partner in my divinity, isn't he telling you that you're also divine? But it is not at an experiential reality for you, so he is not referring to you that way. So now, based on this, why people like Bhishma and Drona, who are supposed to be wise men, are on the side of Duryodhana? See, there is a difference between good people and realized people. Lot of people in his lifetime and even now called Krishna a charlatan, a fake, a rogue, a smiling rogue. Because he's not going by the moral and ethical codes of the day. He's just doing whatever he feels is right to make or to produce an appropriate result in the situation. Bhishmas and Dronas do not come from this space, they come from a moral code. Bhishma is hell-bent on living by his vows. If I say something, at any cost I will do it. It does not matter what harm it causes to myself and everybody, but because I have uttered it, I will do it. He is in this kind of vanity. He is a good man, but very destructive man in many ways, to his own life and people around him, because he goes by his moral code and ethical codes by the word. He won't deviate for a moment. He became a venerated leader, a venerable leader, because of his integrity. Nobody ever questioned his integrity, but his judgment of life, very poor. His integrity is absolute, but his judgment of life is very, very poor. So why he is on the side of Duryodhana? He is not on the side of Duryodhana. His life is dedicated to serve the king of Hastinapur. Even if a donkey is the king, he will serve. It is like, right now, you identify yourself, I am a very good Indian. You want to serve India. So depending upon which leader is right now leading the country, you will serve that man, isn't it? No matter who he is, you serve him. No matter what nonsense he is doing, you serve him because you have committed to serve India. Right now, let us say, the chief of the army, either in India or in United States or in any place, tomorrow if the Prime Minister of this country or the President of this country decides to go on a foolhardy war, can the chief of the army say, no sir, this is not a good thing, I'm not going? Can he? He just goes. Everything in him says this is wrong, but still he goes and he will do what he has to do. Every moment of his life, he knows what he's doing is wrong, still he goes and he does it. That's what Bhishma is. Every moment of his life, he knew what he's doing is wrong. It's unjust, unfair, cruel, inhuman. But he continued to do it because he's committed to Hastinapur. His service is to the Bharata race. He's dedicated himself to that, he cannot go back on that. He's willing to die, but he cannot leave his service. He chose to die in the end, but he cannot leave the service because he's committed to the nation. That is their state. That's happening all the time, everywhere, isn't it?
There is karma held from birth to birth. What should we do in this birth regarding karma?
What is the intention? Do you want to preserve it and take it on to the next life, or do you want to dissolve it? What is the intention? If you ask me which direction you want to go, accordingly I'll tell you what to do. Why I'm asking this question is, I understand what you're saying. Why I'm asking this question is, see, there are many people who want to do some good karma so that their life in future will be better. That is one destination, that is one intention with life. There is another set of people who are not interested in the future. They don't want to have a future. They want to go beyond this existence. They are seeing how to go beyond karmic substance itself. No question of good and bad for them. They want to dissolve the very nature of the karma, the very seed of the karma within themselves. That which is the source of this karmic possibility, that itself they want to dissolve. What you call as karma, in one way, if you look at it, it is the glue which sticks you to the body. If karma is completely dissolved, you will not stay in this body. There is no way to stay. You need the stick-on to stay. If you dissolve all of it, you cannot stay. At least consciously you have to do something, some karma to hold on to the body and go on. So what is the intention? Do you want to be in a better body and meet better bodies next time? Then you do good karma. You don't want any kind of body, nor do you want to meet any kind of bodies. You've had enough of these bodies. Then there is no good karma, bad karma, you are seeing how to burn the seed itself. So if you want to do good karma, do service in the world, love people around you, do rituals, please the gods, please other kinds of beings who are beyond the physical. There are various things to do, so that next time you're healthier, richer, better-bodied. But now you're not interested in all that. You have seen enough of the journey. Not that you're fed up, it is just that you're done with the kindergarten, you want to go on. That's all. It's not because your life has become a suffering that you want to end it. That is a big karma, you cannot end it that way. You're joyful, you're blissful, everything is fine with you. But you have seen enough of kindergarten, you want to move on. Or you have played the game too long and they're going to blow the whistle and tell you your time is up. You can't keep coming back and playing your tricks again and again, it's over. So, according to one's intention, accordingly people went. So, the tradition fixed it. The householders always generally were aspiring to live better. Their whole thing is to have little more wealth, little more health, little more social influence. So they did those kind of rituals to enhance their good marks, to get a better grade next time. Those who went on the spiritual path were not interested in grades, they want to get out of the school. And they want to burn the school and go so that nobody else gets into it. So they went on the ascetic path, but not essentially so. But I'm saying that is how the choices came. That was the basis of the choice at least. Right now, we will have a folk presentation of Ras Leela. One more thing before we do this. I see that all of you, many of you have maybe already using up your blue clothes. You're required to wear blue clothes tomorrow, okay? Tomorrow you stay in blue. Good if you can do both. At least morning you come in blue. If you do not have blue clothes for the evening, wear something of light color, don't wear red, green, all this. Wear something white or cream or beige, something like that. But do not wear some other color. Tomorrow is a blue day.
बाजे छे रे बाजे छे हमे बाजे छे बाजे छे नौबत बाजा मारा डिगीपुरी का राजा हेला पर हेलो सुन जो मारा डिगीपुरी का राजा
निर्धन को हेलो सुन जो मारा डिगीपुरी का राजा
डिगीपुरी का राजा रे डिगीपुरी का राजा दरवाजे नौबत बाजा मारा डिगीपुरी का राजा आंधाने रे आंधाने आंधाने हमें आंधाने 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 आँखें थी जो मारा डिगीपुरी का राजा
बंधने बेटा की जो मारा डिगीपुरी का राजा
कोढ़िया को कोढ़ मिटा जो मारा डिगीपुरी का राजा
लंगड़ा ने पगलिया थी जो मारा डिगीपुरी का राजा
डिगीपुरी का राजा रे डिगीपुरी का राजा हर बाजे नौबत बाजा मारा डिगीपुरी का राजा न्यावा में रे न्यावा में हमें न्यावा में बैठा डोले मारा डिगीपुरी का राजा
फागुन में होलियां खेले मारा डिगीपुरी का राजा
सावन में झूला झूले मारा डिगीपुरी का राजा
अरे बड़ा चाकरी आवे मारा डिगीपुरी का राजा
डिगीपुरी का राजा रे डिगीपुरी का राजा दरवाजे नौबत बाजा मारा डिगीपुरी का राजा